thing tonight to say that the APNU coalition's claim for consistency in lighting has been vindicated tonight. Blackout. All right, Prime Minister, it's your portfolio. Mr. Speaker, I rise to share my thoughts on Budget 2025. We hear, as we do every year, that it is the biggest budget ever, but certainly no one can think it is the best. I would not hold back, Mr. Speaker. I will not bite my tongue when it comes to this ridiculous budget, Mr. Speaker. On the biggest budget, the most pressing issue of the day, Mr. Speaker, is virtually silent. The people of the region are angry and frustrated. They ask themselves if this is the best the PPP can offer. Mr. Speaker, how many times can we bemoan the cost of living crisis? And this is because the PPP finds it in their heart not to listen. In my region, Mr. Speaker, the price of basic items like bread is nearly twice the price of that in Georgetown. This is not news. The government knows that the interland area are faced with the brunt of inflation because of their location. Mr. Speaker, transportation costs could bring goods if we put some sort of voucher on the things that can take, like trucks and carts to carry goods in the region. It would certainly bring the prices down. Why has the government not seen it fit to provide vouchers, Mr. Speaker, for trucks or canter deliveries of food to bring the prices of these goods down? By targeting vehicles, Mr. Speaker, transportation and by targeting vehicles transporting food, Mr. Speaker, and providing them with access to low-cost fuel through voucher that can ensure at least citizens' basic needs are met. Mr. Speaker, the most vulnerable in our society are the ones who suffer dearly when food prices rise. Low-income, Mr. Speaker, low-income Guyanese do not have the luxury of excess resources to cushion the shock of high prices. They are only just getting by, Mr. Speaker. We have seen this government ignore the cost of living crisis, throwing straps at problems with a 5 million here and a 5 million there. Mr. Speaker, at least $20 million could be set aside to alleviate some of these high costs of living. Spending needs to be focused, Mr. Speaker, on low-income Guyanese. Even further, those in our hinterland communities must be given priority. And I repeat, they must be given priority. On the other hand, Speaker, where the government does not provide direct cash, not the one that you give, it is a chaotic and demeaning situation, Mr. Speaker. I think many would agree that the PPP can't even do that. Share a little money here, share a little money there. Long lines, Mr. Speaker, have played the cash grant distributions in our region. And even in Georgetown, elderly people, Mr. Speaker, stand in long lines in rain and in sun to receive these grants, only to be told, Mr. Speaker, that their names are not on that list. Teachers, in addition to that, teachers also line up and are told they have to go to some other location to receive their checks. Mr. Speaker, I was I was happy when I heard that pensioners will be given their $100,000 grants. But some of us sitting in this National Assembly have not received theirs yet. Pensioners have been pensioners could have been given their monies, Mr. Speaker, at the same time when they are receiving their vouchers. Public servants too also, Mr. Speaker, could have been given their money in addition to their salary. This would have removed the necessity for long lines, Mr. Speaker. These lines that follow them to the bank. This, Mr. Speaker, the government is proud to say 90,000 people have received their checks. But through these measures, Mr. Speaker, nearly 150,000 could not have been paid. We made these proposals, Mr. Speaker, but the government stubbornly adheres to. Mr. Speaker, let me be frank with you. This is common sense. If this government can't even give away a little money, and you could recall, Mr. Speaker, about 2 years ago, when we talk about the budget and this population, we proposed to this government, Mr. Speaker, that every family could have received at least $1 million, and that's 2 years ago. Not even last year, but this year come up with a little cash grant. When it comes to more complex issues, Mr. Speaker, the developing regional agriculture, this same agriculture minister, Mr. Speaker, just chucked off a truckload of plants to the play field at Madia, and people had a mad scramble. Nothing that was systematic or nothing that was properly planned. It took some officers in the region to just rush out and share some plans. That's the plan, Mr. Speaker. This Minister of Agriculture, Honorable Mr. Zulfikar, can think about agriculture in Region 8. Mr. Speaker, I think what could have been done is providing these farmers with a little fertilizer and what have you, so that they can grow crops and have to have some ease on the food crisis. Mr. Speaker, I want to raise another issue that is close to my heart. We must take education more seriously. Mr. Speaker, this government has been spending more and more with worse and worse results. I will say that CSEC maths pass rates have fallen from 50% under APNU AFC to 31% as we speak. Mr. Speaker, let me tell you why. This government has failed to put some more resources in the hands of competent teachers that can deliver the work. Mr. Speaker, and guess what they have done is just pull a few commas here and there and promise them some allowance here and some allowance there. That's not what teachers need in Region 8. You need to increase their salary substantially. Mr. Speaker, paying teachers proper salary and give them the consistent training, this government can seem to be focusing only on building. I welcome schools, Mr. Speaker, but you build schools, but you don't put competent people there to work. Guyana, for the answered records, Mr. Speaker, can say how teachers are paid. Since 2024, Mr. Speaker, there were some questions that was asked of the Honorable Minister of Education. And I think we are still awaiting the receipt for some answers. Mr. Speaker, we still are awaiting the photocopies of the last set of answers that should be given to this National Assembly. Mr. Speaker, on page 105 of the 2025 budget speech, 5.3 under selected economic indicators, we see how every year from 2020, Mr. Speaker, to 2024 under the PVC, students' matriculation have declined. This is how the PV shows. This is how the PV shows of. This is how the PV shows of maladministration of the PV rule. Mr. Speaker, one only has to remember 2020, where there were 3 memos that were sent to teachers by the Ministry of Education to schools. Because why? They wanted to have a parade on the road, a street carnival. This is their emphasis rather than allowing the learners to be properly taught. Education must not merely be used for those on the coast, Mr. Speaker, but those in my region must also benefit. I am not against the construction of schools again, and I underscore, Mr. Speaker, I'm not against the construction of schools, but it must not be at the expense of our learners. Mr. Speaker, let's pay the teachers proper salaries. Education must be equal across the board, Mr. Speaker, for both people on the coast and in the hinterlands. Mr. Speaker, I want to close on the issue of the development of new industries and jobs. We have the rainforest there. And I think, Mr. Speaker, we can invest some more money, about $50 million can be placed at the University of Guyana to encourage research into medicinal plants and other things that help medicinal plants, Mr. Speaker, from our rainforest. By investing in research development, by carrying out surveys and assessment, we can open up new opportunities to grow our economy. I believe in the University of Guyana, Mr. Speaker. We believe in the University of Guyana. And we also believe that $10 billion more could be put for research there. Well, I want to increase that from 50 to 10 billion. We need, Mr. Speaker, a budget that addresses cost of living, not just ignore it. We need, Mr. Speaker, a budget that focuses on both education and infrastructure. Mr. Speaker, this is not a good budget. Thankfully, this will be the last of the PPP's budget. Mr. Speaker, as the people's representative of Region 8, I can in no way, coupled with the fact too that I have not in receipt of my $100,000 grant, I can in no way support this budget unless that comes through. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, Honorable